Okay, let's get started. We have a plan to make two LANs and a router. We need first to select a router. Let's see what routers we have. If you take a router, most important thing is to know which interfaces are available in the router already. Is this router modular or not? If you click on this router, you can go to the zoom in here, and you can see the ports available here. Uh, it's clear it's modular, but you need to see which type of ports are added. For example, here in this router, I can add this. If you don't know what's this, just click on it, you will see it. These are serial port gears, and serial ports are used for WANs, not LAN connections. Here, let me see what's this. This is a gigabit Ethernet. They will give you, for example, 4 extra. You get that? Now, there was already 3 or 4 before. Now, let me turn it on, and I'll show you what happens here. Now, if you put the mouse here, ya banat, how many ports you see? Gigabit Ethernet 001, 001, 000, 02, and so many ports you see. Does that make sense, ya banat? Okay, these are the LAN interfaces. I'll take another router. I'll take another router. I'll take another router here. Before I go, even I can see how many ports here I have. 3. For our topology, 3 ports are enough. They are all gigabit Ethernet. This router is also modular. You can add, you can know the types of the available ports. Sometimes you do have, sometimes you don't. So make sure you know. For example, this one here, I need to switch it off first. Here, this one here, it gives me, provides 4 switching what? Ports. If I take this here, 4 switching ports and press and go now here, look, we have how many ports? We have fast Ethernet. You see the ones I added, fast Ethernet. I don't want them, or I want them, it's up to you. But for our experiments, no need for this now, today's experiment. I'll switch it off, remove them, and switch it on. So I decided to use this model of the router. It's fine. I'll go and delete this. Now we have 2 LANs. Each LAN has a 1 switch. I'll take 2 switches. 2960 is fine. On the left side, we have, let us call it the business LAN. This is just a name, business LAN. And I'll give it the IP address 192.168.10.0/24. This is very important. And here on the right side, I have Arch LAN, and I'll give it address 192.168.20.0/26. So the left LAN or the business LAN has 8 host bits. The right LAN has 6 host bits. Right. We will add PCs. Any PC is fine. 2 PCs are enough here and here. Our addressing now. Let's talk about addressing. In each LAN, we will give the first usable address to the default gateway port. We will give the last usable address to the switch. Then default gateway +1 will be given to host or PCs. Now cabling. All the cabling we needed here is going to be straight patch or straight copper through. Fast Ethernet to fast Ethernet. Fast Ethernet to fast Ethernet. I'll go to the other side. Fast Ethernet to fast Ethernet. And here fast Ethernet to fast Ethernet. Now connecting the switch to the router is also straight. What type of ports we have on the switch? Put your mouse here. You see that you have 24 fast Ethernet and 2 gigabit Ethernet. Gigabit Ethernet, the bandwidth is much higher than fast Ethernet. On the router side, you have also gigabit Ethernet. So which ones do you think I'm going to select on the switch? Should I take fast Ethernet or gigabit Ethernet? Why gigabit Ethernet? It's faster. Why we need faster connection between the switch and the router? Because all the traffic coming from all the hosts will be aggregated on this link. If this link is slow, it will be the bottleneck of traffic. Does that make sense? So I'll take this one, come here. Now you need to be very accurate and you need to be very precise. You should know which port you are connecting your LAN to. Okay, here in Packet Tracer, it tells you, and we are using it to also tell you which ports. So now, business LAN is default gateways. Which port, ya banat? GI00. I'll do the same here, GI01, and here which port? GI01. Let us start with addressing now. First address goes to the default gateway, last address to the switch, other addresses to the host in the LAN. 192.168.10. Okay, 0 is the network, right? The first usable address 192.168. Let me just correct this. Okay, 10.1. 192.168. 10.1 is the first usable address. 192.168.10.254 is the last usable address. 192.168.10.255 is the broadcast address. So this is for our first network. This is network, and the subnet mask for this LAN, since it's /24, is going to be 255.255.0. This subnet mask is needed for all things. So the first usable address will be the default gateway. So which one? This port. If you go to the router here, you can go to config. Which port I want to config for business LAN? 00. I can make it on. I can give it IP address 192.168.10.1. I can give it the subnet mask. But usually these screens are not available during exams. You need to know how to do it. Even if you don't know, by just doing it now like this, like what I did, actually you will see all the commands. You will see everything I did, and here you will see it, and I'll cancel it and go to the CLI to do it using CLI. So let me explain how to do it from scratch, how to give an IP address to the port. Which port I'm giving? GI00. You must be very precise and you pay attention. Enable conft. Which interface? Interface GI00. Now you are in the subcategory. What's the IP address? IP address 192.168.10.1. It's not enough to give the IP address. You must also give what? The subnet mask. It's not enough to give the IP address and the subnet mask. This port, as you see here, is still shut down. So you need to open the port no shut. Now the default gateway for this LAN is 192.168. See, it becomes green. The default gateway for this LAN is 192.168.10.1. Does that make sense? Now I'll go to PCs. I'll give them addresses like desktop here, 192.168.10.2, and the default gateway 192.168.10 what? 1. Does that make sense? Yeah, Banat. I'll close it. I'll go to this one here again, and now this IP address is going to be 3. Same subnet mask and same default gateway. So far, so good. I close this. Now, sometimes when you have a problem in your LAN, or you cannot connect to the internet, a LAN technician or engineer would tell you, try to ping your default gateway. What does it mean to ping your default gateway? Yani from this PC, for example, you're going to try to ping the IP address of the default gateway. If it works fine, then you are fine. It means the problem is outside your LAN. Do you get this, yeah? So it means the problem is outside your LAN. So I'll go to PC0 here. I'll try to ping my default gateway 192.168.10.1. Is it working fine? So, okay, I'll try to ping the other PC, okay, which is 10.3, right? Is it working fine? So ping is working fine. Now I need to go to the switch, and please pay attention again here. I'll go to the switch. We said the switch should be given the last address, right? Right. I'll go here, VLAN1, enable, conft. Okay, let me put some configurations for this switch. Line console 0, password Cisco, login, and I'll also make line VTY 0 to 15, password Cisco, okay, login, okay, exit, enable, secret, class, tamam, host name, okay, business, SW, good. Now I need to configure the IP address of the switch. Interface VLAN1, IP address, last address we said, what is it? 192.168.254. Also, subnet mask should be given when you assign IP addresses. And still one more thing is needed. You must say no what? No shut. If you go to your switch, girls, look here. Now, what do you see at the bottom of that? You see VLAN 1, the port is up or down. And the IP address is the right thing, you can do it. You can now ping the switch from anywhere. I'll go to this one. I'll ping the switch, ping 192.168.10.254. And maybe it's going to fail the first time, but later it's going to work. I don't see a problem, Yani. Okay, this is fine, normal. You'll understand this when you study Ethernet protocols and switching tables and all these things. So everything is done on this side. Let us go to the other side. We need to assign what? What is the other side? Our network on the other side is 192.168.20.0. But this is /26, right? /26 means the first address is 192.168.21. Let us make sure here. This is network. This is what? First, 192.168.20.62 is the last usable address, right? And the broadcast address is 192.168.20.63. Good. This is the broadcast. The subnet mask of this network is 255.255.255.192. Does that make sense? The first address is going to be given to the default gateway, so I'm going to just add here 192.168.21. Remember, you should know the subnet mask because you need it whenever you assign an IP address. Which port is connected to the Arts LAN, GI01. So I go to the switch here, exit, for example, interface GI01, IP address 192.168.21, 255.255.192. One more step is needed. What is it? No shut. That's good. So the port is on. I'll go to the PCs here. Desktop 192.168.168.22, and the subnet mask you need to manually correct it. And the default gateway of the Arts LAN is 192.168.21. I'll go to the second PC here. I can say this is .1.2, sorry. And here, this PC IP address is going to be .3. Let me assign an IP address to the here. This is going to be 23. Subnet mask is going to be 192, and the default gateway is 21. Does that make sense? Right. In this one now, let us try to ping the default gateway of this LAN. I go here and ping my default gateway, which is 192.168.21. It's working fine. So if you can ping the default gateway, most probably everything is configured properly. I need to go to this switch, CLI here, enable conft. In the Arch switch, I'm just going to configure the IP addresses. Conft interface VLAN 1 IP address. We said the last address, which is 192.168.20.62, right? 255.192, and make sure you add a no shut command. Once you are done, you can put your mouse here and make sure the port is given and it's up. If you put your mouse at the router now, what you're going to see? How many ports are up? 2. And you look at the IP addresses, you look at the prefix, you double check your configuration. If there is anything wrong, you need to repeat the configurations. Now, let us try for the first time to ping between different networks. This is going to work simply because the router, this router, the one you see here, the router is directly connected to both LANs. No need for the router to know anything extra. I know both LANs. So I'm going to ping from somewhere to somewhere. Here, I'm going to ping now 23. You know, 23 is a PC and the other LAN, right? Even if it fails first time, I expect it to work. Here I see is working fine, right? Let me bring 1021. What's 21? A port in the router, but in the other LAN. Okay, the default gateway port belongs to the LAN. Let me ping 22. So I can easily go there and ping. Does that make sense, Yabana? So I'll go to simulation now. I'll just show you the ICMP packet, what happens when you ping. And I'll go from here, for example, and try to ping and click on run. Do you see the packet? Since it's a foreign traffic, the packet will go to the router. The router makes the decision how to forward it. Look here, the router makes a decision how to forward it to the destination. The destination replies now. Because it's a foreign traffic, the destination sends it to the router. Does that make sense? If it's internal LAN traffic, this is going to be layer 2 traffic. MAC address will be requested and just forwarded through the switch. See now? It's across the networks. So I'll go back to real time. Now let us see what happens if you don't know your default gateway. Look at BC1 here. I'll go to the IP address of BC1 and remove, or let us do it. I'll give it 100. Is it an available address? Is it correct default gateway? So now what we need to know that BC1 doesn't know how to go outside the LAN because BC1 is not aware of the door or the gateway of this LAN. Let me show you this. I'll try to ping from BC1 to BC2. Inside the LAN, it will work. طيب, how to ping from BC1 to BC2 quickly? You see this icon here. You click on it from here to here. That's it. This is simple ping. See what happens. BC1 cannot send anything. تمام. طيب. خلاص. I don't want to continue. If you don't want to continue, select this يا بنات here and click delete. So I want to do another simulation. Click here. From here to here. Do you see that it works? Look. It should work because both destinations are in the same LAN. You get that? No need to, okay. See, at least it left the BC. It will go to the destination. So both know each other. Is it working? But what about PC1 responding or sending things to outside the LAN? Is it going to work? No. So خلاص, this one is working. Reset. I'll delete it even because if you don't delete it, it will repeat it. Now I'll click on this one. I'm trying to click from here to here. Remember, PC1 now is the destination. Look, BC2 knows how to go outside the LAN. It will send it to the router. Now, let us see what happens. The router first time fails, but it doesn't mean that's going to fail all the time. When you ping first time, be patient, especially if you are using simulation. You know, ping happens how many times, Yabanat? 4 times. So, okay, let us see the second one. I can expedite this, but because I'm recording, I don't want to. Okay, let us see this. Okay, still I don't see anything happening. Okay, clear events. I'll try again, Reset simulation. Okay, start. You know the difference between reset and delete. Okay, reset, start over, but delete, remove it. See now what's going to happen now. I believe that's okay. See, BC1 received it. But what's the problem with BC1? BC1 cannot reply. Why? Because the destination address is in a different network. And PC1 does not know the default gateway of this LAN. So let us now reset simulation and delete and see what we're going to do. We're going to come here and go to BC1 and correct it back to what? 100. And we will do the same thing again from PC2 to what? BC1 and try to run the simulation. Now, PC1 is expected to reply because PC1 is configured with the right default gateway. Okay, good. Tamam. Now we are expecting it to reply because it knows the door. It knows how to send traffic to the outside world through the default gateway. Did it work, girls? Tamam. Good. Type. Now, what about switches? Okay, done with this one. What about switches? If I ping the switch from inside the LAN, both switches, I believe, gonna reply. Look here. Did it work from inside the LAN? Did it work, yes or no? Yes. If I ping the other switch from the LAN also, it will work. 62, right? Okay, it will work. Type. If you bring the switches from outside the LAN, did it work now? Okay. Now, if you bring the switch from outside the LAN, it's not going to work. Why? Because here, run. Sorry, let me delete some in progress here. Okay. Look, Abinat, here. If you bring from here to here, same problem. Ask yourself, is the switch aware of its default gateway? No. Did you tell anything to the switch about the default gateway? No. If the switch does not know the default gateway, then what happens? I'll repeat it quickly here. Okay. Here. Run. Okay. The switch is not aware of its default gateway. Then there should be a way to tell the switch how the default gateway is configured. See, the switch is not going to reply now. Why? Because the switch does not know its default gateway. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go to the switches, real time, and configure default gateway. I'll do it to the business switch here. Okay, Cisco is the console, enable, class is the secret password. conft. This command should be given from the global configuration. The business switch is in which LAN? The business LAN. What's the default gateway of the business LAN? 192.168.10.1. So the command is IB default gateway 192.168.10.1. That's it. This is the command. Good. No subnet mask when you give the default gateway. Exit. I want to save everything. Copy, run what? Start. Now let us do it, Banat, from this side now. Let us go to simulation first. I'll do Bing from the other side, from here to here. Business switch is aware of its what? Default gateway. Yes or no? So let us see now. Business switch should be able to reply. But we did not configure the R switch. Okay. Let us see the business switch. Even if it fails first time, you know that. Okay. Reset simulation, restart. It should work now. Okay, router receives the packet, forwards it to the switch. The switch replies. The switch finds out that the destination address is in a foreign network. The switch, in this case, only sends it to the router. Let us see what happens. Unless we are configuring the switch in a wrong way. But I will reset and restart over. Tamam. Let's see this. I don't think there is a problem. It's a question of switching tables and routing tables. Huh? Okay, did it work, Evan? It's a question of time only when you do this. Tamam. But you still cannot ping which switch? This one. So what should you do if you want? Go back to real time to this switch. Enable conft from where? From where I said you do this? From the global configuration. What's the default gateway of ArtsLAN? 192.168.21. What's the command? IB default gateway 192.168.21. Okay, and tamam. Right. For switch 2 or Art switch, I did not configure anything about secret password, about telnet password, about anything. If you don't have a secret password and telnet password, you cannot remotely telnet to the switch. The switch will be rejecting it. Look here. From BC1, I'll type telnet 192.168.20.62. Connection closed. It refused the connection. I'll try from this PC to telnet to the business switch. Business switch is ready. So I go here, I type telnet 192.168.10.254. It worked. Why? Because the switch is ready with telnet password and enable. Both must be set. The telnet password is enable, is Cisco enable class. Now you are remotely connected to the switch. You can make any changes and then save them. For the router, how to remotely connect to the router? Yeah, girls, the routers by default have many IP addresses. You just need to make sure the router is configured also with these passwords. Do you get this, Yavana? يعني I'll go here and make enable conf t line VTY 015 password Cisco, okay, login, exit. This is telnet password, okay, host name, main R, okay, and now enable secret class. Do you have a secret password and telnet password here? Yes or no? So tamam. Then you can connect to the router, copy, run, start. Let us make sure everything is saved. Now here. Now I'll try to telnet to the router from anywhere. To telnet to the router, any IP address you know in the router, you can telnet to it. So the router I know 10.1 and 21. Yes or no? This is the telnet password, enable, class. Are you connected to the router now? Does that make sense? So this is how it works. This is how you can telnet to the router. This is how to configure devices, to configure ports. Now, I'll post this on Blackboard. And what you need to do is you need to add a third network to it. Yani later, I want you to add a third network to the remaining kind, and the network will call it engineering LAN, okay? And the IP address is 192.168.30/27. This is all I can tell you. You need to configure it with default gateway, configure the switch, do everything the same as I did. I'm saving this. Tamam. I'm posting it to Blackboard with this video recording. You need to be able to do the third one yourself. And next time, this is where we're going to start from. Thank you.